Do you remember Alien Isolation? That game where an alien creature hunts you down until it impales you with its long black tail. Well, I did. When I was a 9-year-old, Alien Isolation was all the rage, being the holy grail of horror at the time.
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch?
Having bald androids grabbing you on a constant basis? What's not to love? Now slightly mature, I want to see why Alien Isolation was regarded as the best horror game, and if it is still in the top contenders. So, let's go. We play as Amanda Ripley, the daughter of Ellen Ripley from Alien. This game takes place 15 years later from the events of Alien. As Amanda Ripley, we are invited by Samuel, an android, to retrieve Ripley's mother's flight recorder of the Nostromo.
You're still looking, aren't you? I've been cleared to offer you a place on the Torrens if you want to come along.
For which is being held on the Sevastopol. When our ship, the Torrens, arrives at the Sevastopol, we try to make contact, but their communications are offline and the station is damaged.
Immediate permission to transfer the passengers port side over.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to report a message for you.
When trying to get to the station by spacebalk, we are hit with debris and severed from our crewmates.
Hello, Ripley, hold on!
Surviving, Ripley enters the Sevastopol. The place is in ruin, being shown by the isolation. Wait, it's gonna be absolute bumfucked. What's up, boy? Being our main mission, we find the flight recorder of the Nostromo, but it's corrupted. On our exploration, we meet a survivor, Axel. He agrees to help us if we allow him on a seat on the Torrens.
What's in it for me?
Place on the ship.
Escaping hostile survivors, Axel was killed by a creature, being the Xenomorph. Escaping this event, Ripley eventually regroups with Samuels and an injured Nina Taylor. Samuel sends us on a mission to recover a trauma kit from the medical area. Hello. Obviously, it wouldn't be that easy. It never is. What are you doing? Please leave. Androids are lurking around alongside the Xenomorph. Of course, hello. Oh, my current save. Ha ha ha. We get to our shipmates and are found by Marshal Waits, who explains that the Xenomorph was brought aboard the station by the Anisadora, the ship that recovered the Nostromo flight recorder, or Ripley's flight recorder. As a result, Marshall has been holding the Anisadora captain, Henry Marlowe. Ripley speaks with Marlowe and learns that the Anisadora crew followed the flight path of the Nostromo in hopes of finding and salvaging the ship. Instead, they find the Xenomorph spacecraft. Marlowe's wife Foster was impregnated by a facehugger, and we know how that usually ends. Marlowe brought her back for treatment, unleashing the Xenomorph onto the populace unknowingly. Waits has developed a new plan to trap the creature in an area that can be jettisoned, or thrown into the abyss. He convinces Ripley to act as the bait in the scheme, giving her a flamethrower just in case. While the plan is successful, Waits ejects the module with Ripley still inside to ensure that the Xenomorph is dead.
I'm sorry, Ripley.
What? Oh, what? What the fuck? Ripley performs a risky space jump back to this festival, while the alien is still in the module, getting thrown into the crushing atmosphere. Finally, Ripley makes her way back to confront Waits, but Ricardo, the Marshal's deputy, reveals that the station's androids have abruptly started slaughtering the remaining crew, including Waits.
You bastards, you murdering
Bastards? What?
Leave
What?
him alone.
No!
I'm dying. Wait. Help me.
Tasked to stop the androids, we have to find the main core of the station's AI, Apollo. Samuel, being an android, attempts to interface with the station's artificial intelligence to cease its rampage.
I don't have time for this.
Okay. However, the system's defensive countermeasures kills him shortly after he opens a path for Ripley into the control core.
You're dying.
No.
Talk like I've had an actual life.
You have had a life, Samuel.
Thank you for that.
No, thank you.
The Apollo transit is open.
Okay, bad man. Seegson, a big corporation in the Alien universe, had been trying to sell off the Sevastopol to Weyland-Yutani, another company. Seegson instructed Apollo to protect the alien at all costs. Ripley tells Apollo that the creature is no longer aboard the station and demands it to cease all activity. The system refuses. Discovering a nest with hundreds of aliens, Ripley initiates a reactor core purge to destroy them. After this, Ripley learns that our injured crewmate Taylor was secretly sent to retrieve the alien from Sevastopol. She freed Marlowe in exchange for the location of the Xenomorph ship. However, Marlowe double-crosses her and takes her hostage. On board the Nisadora, Ripley finally discovers the Nostromo's flight recorder, containing a personal message from her mother, thus giving her closure, being the whole point of going to the Sevastopol and on this journey anyway. Meanwhile, Marlowe attempts to overload the fusion reactor of the Nisadora to destroy the Sevastopol, and ensure that no creatures survive. Hostage Taylor kills him in an attempt to stop this, but she herself is killed by an electrical discharge, forcing Ripley to escape shortly before the Nisadora explodes. The explosion causes the Sevastopol to slowly drift into the atmosphere. Ripley and Ricardo contact the Taurans for extraction, but a facehugger latches onto Ricardo, forcing Ripley to leave him. After making her way outside to help the Taurans detach from the station, Ripley is surrounded by the alien creatures. Detach. Whee! Oh no. Okay, I'm spinning. Aboard the Taurans, Ripley discovers that another alien has boarded the ship. Okay, move left. Alright. Oh no. When she is cornered in an airlock, she ejects herself and the alien into space. Drifting in her spacesuit, Ripley is awakened by a searchlight. That is the end. Let's talk about the development. Alien Isolation was developed by Creative Assembly, who are known for their work on the Total War series, which is a strategy game. A game based on Ridley Scott's Alien series from 20th Century Fox was conceived when Creative Assembly finished Viking Battle for Asgard. Sega acquired the rights to develop games based on Alien in 2006. Creative Assembly was acquired by Sega, which is why they are working on the game. A 6-person team developed the first prototype to pitch the idea, where one player would control the alien manually while the other would conceal themselves in an environment and try and hide. The game captured the attention of Sega and the project was eventually approved.
And everyone instantly got what the idea was. Everybody that saw it was enthusiastic about it.
Creative Assembly had no experience with survival horror games. This resulted in the company hiring people from other well-known studios. According to game director Alistair Hope, the development team grew from a couple of guys to a group of 100 people by 2014. Creative Assembly decided to design the game more in line with Ridley Scott's 1979 film Alien, opposed to James Cameron's more action-oriented one. To help the designers authentically recreate the atmosphere of the film, Fox provided them with original production material, including costumes, photography, concept art, etc. Soundtrack-wise, the film's original soundtrack was deconstructed so that composers could identify the main cues to extend the soundtrack to fill the game. Rather than go for a high-tech science fiction look, the game designers opted to recreate the setting and feeling of the original Alien film, using the work of concept artists that worked on the original title. As a result, the game features a lo-fi 1970s vision of what the future would have looked like. A gameplay mechanic that is featured is hacking. Digital hacking had not been conceived in the 1970s, therefore the hacking device was built in a way that would correspond to the set of the film. It requires the players to tune into a computer's signal while selecting icons on a screen. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
The Creative Assembly team wanted Alien Isolation to have a story that was closely related to the film. As a result, the team decided to explore a story set 15 years after the events of Alien, which would involve Ellen Ripley's daughter and the Nostromo's flight recorder. Actress Sigourney Weaver agreed to reprise her role as Ellen Ripley to voice small sections because she felt the story was true to the film. Along with Weaver, the original Alien cast reprised their roles separately for downloadable content. All the characters were created with 3D face scans, being quite prevalent in most 2014 games. Alien Isolation runs on a proprietary engine that was built from scratch by Creative Assembly. The engine was adapted to accommodate technical aspects such as atmosphere, lighting, and the alien's behavioural design. New tools were eventually implemented. Although they improved the workflow, they initially caused major disruptions because previous work had to be discarded or ported into the new tools. And that's a bitch. The alien was designed to look similar to H.R. Giger's original design from the film, including the skull underneath its semi-transparent head. Between 70 and 80 different sets of animations for the alien were created. The alien's artificial AI was programmed with a complex set of behavioural designs that slowly unlock as they encounters the player, creating the illusion that the alien learns from each interaction and appropriately adjusts to its hunting strategy. As gameplay designer Gary Napper explains, we needed something that would be different every time you'd play it. You're going to die a lot, which means restarting a lot, and if the alien was scripted, you see the same behaviour. The game is played in a first-person perspective, but it was also developed for a third-person view. The perspective was changed after the team realised that the first person changed the gameplay as a whole. The game director explained that in third person it would be a bit unrealistic, but in first person it would make it seem like you were actually hunted, creating a bigger fear factor. Development took 4 years after Creative Assembly pitched the idea to Sega. Alien Isolation was released to manufacturing on the 9th of September 2014. The game released on the 7th of October 2014. The game was met with favourable reviews, showing a genuine effort to make a game that captured the spirit of the Alien film, whilst giving the players a new experience as a whole. The graphics were also commended for its horrifying creation of atmosphere, especially on the Xbox One that was released in 2013, being the next generation console at the time. On the other hand, reviews expressed that the character development wasn't explored properly, creating a quite bland connection to them that didn't really matter. Another criticism was the length of the game being seen as drawn out and repetitive due to you needing to hide a lot, leading to annoyance instead of fear. Well, that's kind of a compliment because that just shows that the alien's AI is very good. Despite this, the game is renowned for being one of the best horror games out there in general. Alien Isolation was given many awards, especially for the sound design. If you look at games from 2014, Alien Isolation will probably be in the top 10. Alien Isolation, despite being released in 2014, Creative Assembly is still being praised for their work in creating this game that changed the way horror was seen at the time. In 2014, there weren't many impactful horror games to come out at the time. Most horror games before Alien Isolation were hybrid horror games, such as Evil Within or Resident Evil. Those games had a more action shooter theme to them, removing the fear factor that should be given when playing a horror game. In my opinion, these games are not really horror games. They have horror aspects to them, such as macabre enemies and characters with dark environments with scary violin music. The main thing that makes horror great is the sense of the unknown. As humans, we are scared of the unknown, like being scared of the dark, having to run up the stairs before a monster pulls you into the dark abyss. In Alien Isolation, you are able to defend yourself, but you are not invincible. Weapons can deter the alien, but it only adds more fuel to the fire. The alien will have more of an incentive to find and kill you. Therefore, you need to get the frick out there before it comes back from its power nap. The first person allows you to experience the environment better and limits your spatial awareness. The motion tracker and audio engineering are the only real tools that you can use to locate the alien and navigate the station without being molested by a bored android. I can understand that it can get repetitive, but that's the point of the game. If you don't adapt to the situation, then the alien won't adapt, leading to a boring experience. The Creative Assembly team really succeeded in making the alien AI as real as it could be. No matter where you go, the alien can always find you. Androids can always see you, and humans can always miss you. To conclude, Alien Isolation came out at a time where horror games weren't as horrific as they portrayed. Creative Assembly gave us a new interpretation of a well-known film series, successfully adding more lore to the universe but also more interest to a wider audience. They gave us the experience that we could only hope to experience. Outlast did this as well, to create a sense of vulnerability everywhere you go. First-person horror games aside, evidently you are isolated in this game. No one can help you except yourself. You need to utilise your survival instincts and your surroundings to outlast the horrors of the Sevastopol. The game is all about you, the player. You control the situation, and you are the one that is isolated in this alien ambience. That is the horror of alien isolation.